We repose in Kingston at the Miles End B&B, owned by John and Ann Miles and their dog, Z. A fetching wilderness retreat with a stone lodge called Valhalla. We're on the road again. We're going to make our way all the way to Austin. We coil up a hill southwest of town to Austin's most famous attraction, Stokes Castle.
Stokes Castle is Austin's landmark. That's the thing that Austin's most known for. It was originally built in 1897 by local stonemasons. All of the granite was cut locally from the area and hauled in here. It was to be a summer home for the Anson Stokes family, and it was modeled after a tower that he had seen in Europe that he wanted to rebuild here.
I stop in at the little Bluebird turquoise shop, and here get my loneliest road passports stamped. We unwind the lonely road as the encasing mountains slip by like a vast coffee cake with powdered sugar on top. Under a lowering sky, we stop by something in the middle of nothing, a stately cottonwood blooming with polymer beauty. This tree seems to have sucked up all the discarded footwear in the whole of Nevada. I'm a shoeless Joe. Just a hop and a shoe's toss away, we pull into Old Middlegate Station, the actual middle of nowhere, population 17. This is the home of the Monster Burger, which has assumed the status of legend and draws burger slayers from around the world.
Years and years ago, there was this guy that came in, and he was one of my big eaters. He says, at 381, he says, I'm still hungry. Huh. He says, I think I'll have another burger. And I said, well, you want me to make you a big burger? I'll make you a big burger.
So I decide to take the Monster Burger Challenge. I love big burgers. How hard could it be?
Hope you're hungry.
Man, I should have starved myself for the last week.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Who would have thought that anything this big could be this good? Freda, I surrender. I surrender.
You're not the first guy I've made a wuss out of. Monster gotcha.
The landscape undulates with waves of pale beige sand. High mountains rise, frozen like giant whitewater waves. I can hear my blood pulsing in awe. Next stop is the Frey Ranch, ground zero for Nevada's craft liquor movement. Fashioned here is vodka, gin, brandy, grappa, bourbon, absinthe, and single malt whiskeys.
The neat part about everything is we mash it, ferment it, distill it, age it, and bottle it all right here. So my wife always tells people when you take home a bottle of vodka or a bottle of gin, it's never left our possession until you take it home.
Oh, I've had G&Ts all through India, all through the tropics, and certainly all through Africa. I mean, the G&T is not only the drink of choice, but it's also the prophylaxis that prevents malaria. So, yeah, so cheers. And just as testimony, I've never had malaria, so it works. So. And you never had it either, I bet.
Nope.
Yes.
I drink a lot of gin and tonics.
There you go. That's a good G&T.
Thank you.
Towed by the sunset, we arrive in Reno. An earned week after we began this road trip, we check into the Whitney Peak Hotel. How you doing? The end of the road. Or maybe it's the beginning. Right next to the famous Reno Arch sign, and a living temple to the evolution of consciousness in Nevada.
I like to say if you can climb a ladder, you'll be able to succeed on something here. Most climbing gyms are off in some dusty warehouse where nobody notices, but the visibility is, unprecedented. To be able to be active and not smoking or gambling right next to the arch is, I think, a really good step forward. It's so fun to watch people literally stop in their tracks and just, what is going on? We actually get a lot of people who've never climbed before who were just walking down the street, saw the wall, and want to check it out. I feel really fortunate to be able to help grow the sport of rock climbing as well. Reno is incredibly well situated to be an outdoor enthusiast hub, mecca, if you will. Pretty much any outdoor sport you would like to do in the area, you're within 30 minutes. I mean, there's over 300 mountain ranges in the state, as I'm sure you guys have just discovered. There's so many options for people to just step out of their norm and really immerse themselves in the environment. I think that's draws that type of individual.